Ever get stuck trying to find just the right words to talk about cities or buildings in your IELTS exam? Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to master some seriously powerful phrases, collocations, by telling the story of one of the most impressive structures you can think of, the stadium. Ready? Let's jump right in.
So, for centuries, stadiums have been at the very heart of city life. I mean, they're incredible feats of urban architecture, right? Structures so huge they have absolutely dominated urban skylines way before skyscrapers were even a thing. They're so much more than just buildings, they're icons. And the language we use to describe them, that's exactly what IELTS examiners are looking for.
So here's our game plan. We're going to follow the story of stadiums through 5 key stages. We'll kick things off with their role as celebrated icons. Then we'll dig into the problems they face today, see how they can actually be a solution for city growth, and finally, look at their innovative future. By the end, you'll have a complete toolkit of phrases all ready to go for your exam.
All right, first up, icons of the city. The phrases in this section are just perfect for describing those amazing structures that really define a city's character and make people proud.
Okay, so picture a famous concert hall, or maybe an ancient amphitheater. What you're picturing is a great example of distinctive urban architecture. And when these places are done really well, they feel like they've always been there. That's what we mean when we say they're absorbed into the fabric of the city. And of course, if it's a place for music or a performance, you definitely talk about its outstanding acoustics. See? These are all fantastic, positive phrases that'll really show off your vocabulary. And check this out. Notice how this example so elegantly combines two of our brand new phrases. This is exactly the kind of complex, sophisticated sentence that scores big marks in IELTS Writing Task 2. It really shows you can connect ideas smoothly and powerfully. But, this story isn't all sunshine and roses. In the modern world, building these massive stadiums has gotten, pretty controversial. This shift in thinking needs a totally different set of collocations, the kind of language we use to talk about problems and challenges.
So let's ask the question, why is there this growing skepticism? The phrase itself, by the way, growing skepticism, is a brilliant way to introduce a problem or a counterargument in an essay. It's like a signal to the examiner that you're about to look at another side of the story.
Here are the main problems. First off, the price tag. Construction costs can soar. We're talking astronomical amounts of money. Then what happens after a big event like the Olympics is over? Well, a lot of these huge venues have just fallen into disuse and disrepair. They just sit there, empty. And a big reason why is that they were built as monofunctional sports arenas. That means they're only good for one thing, and they're totally empty the rest of the time. This vocabulary is absolutely golden for any problem solution essay.
This example is a fantastic model for linking cause and effect. And using a powerful verb like soar instead of just go up or increase, it just makes your language so much more impactful. It paints this really vivid picture of costs just spiraling out of control, a key skill for any kind of argumentative writing.
Okay, so faced with these problems, what did architects and city planners do? They had to completely rethink the whole idea of a stadium. So this next set of phrases, it's all about positive change, revitalization, and the language of solutions. So the crucial point is this major shift in thinking. We're moving away from the problem, the monofunctional sports arenas, and heading straight towards the solution, creating mixed-use developments. Now, these are projects that combine stadiums with things like apartments, shops, parks, and offices. It makes them useful every single day of the week, not just on game day. This new approach can totally drive urban development for a whole neighborhood. The goal is to make facilities that are accessible to the general public, not just for people with a ticket. This is how you transform a simple stadium into a lively urban hub that brings in a much wider cross-section of society, from families with kids to local workers. This is the language of real community impact. See how this sentence just weaves together 3 of our key phrases into one powerful idea? This shows a fantastic level of control and fluency. You're not just listing off points, you're building a really logical argument about how infrastructure can create positive change in a city. It's brilliant. And that brings us to the final chapter of our story, the Stadium of the Future. This section is all about the language of innovation, sustainability, and forward-thinking design. It's perfect for IELTS topics on technology and the environment. So the goal with these new designs is to regenerate urban spaces, turning old, neglected areas into vibrant parts of the city.
They do this using cool technology, like covering their roofs with photovoltaic panels to generate clean energy. And when a project like this works, it doesn't just have a positive impact on the local area, it can become a blueprint for other cities all over the world to copy.
This example really ties the whole story together, doesn't it? We start with a positive action, regenerate urban spaces, connect it to a clear benefit, have a positive impact, and then we finish with its long-term importance, becoming a blueprint for others. That kind of narrative structure is so persuasive, whether you're speaking or writing.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground, from iconic landmarks to innovative blueprints for the future. So now let's bring it all together. This next slide is your complete toolkit with every single phrase we've talked about.
And here we are. This is it, your ultimate cheat sheet. Everything's right here. You've got phrases for describing problems, like when costs can soar, and phrases for proposing solutions, like creating mixed-use developments. Seriously, I would pause right here or grab a screenshot of this. Start practicing with these. Talk about your own city. This is your key to unlocking that higher score.
So I'll leave you with a final thought to put this all into practice. Think about an area in your town or city that could use a little help. How could a mixed-use development help regenerate that urban space? Just thinking about how to answer that question is your first big step to mastering these essential IELTS collocations. Good luck with your preparation, and thanks for joining me.